most important soft skill, tenacity. When you start as a consultant, in a PR agency, you spend most of your day calling journalists, try to pitch them a story. Don't underestimate your network. Even though you don't know someone directly, you probably know someone, you have like the cousin or the neighbor of a friend who can help you. So ask a lot of questions. Once you've asked some question around you, once you've done like your research, just take a leap of faith. It's not about overthinking, it's about doing. Nothing beats execution. I think one of the best advice I've ever had. Nothing beats execution. I love the Bible. There's the verse that I really like. Ecclesiastes 11:4. If a person waits for perfect weather, he will never plant his seeds. So at one point, you just have to go, man, and plant your seed, because the perfect weather will never come.
So, here we are. Wisdom Nuggets 101. I'm here with Charlie, my very good friend, brother, and so many other things, partner in so many other areas. So, Charlie, much appreciated for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor and a privilege. You're my brother from another mother. Now we start to go. We start to go a long way, you and I, but you still don't know my real name. How funny is that?
I wish you had a middle name, because your first name is the same as your last name. How's that? How's that possible?
Slightly different. My first name is Charlie. And my last name is Charles. Charles. Not the same. It's not exactly the same.
What's your Haitian middle name?
I don't have any. This is not really something we do in
I see. Charlie, once again, thanks for coming over. I'm just going to go straight to the point. Tell me how you started.
Yes, I would say I'm in the communication industry, but I'm in the PR branch, public relations. So I'm working for a PR agency based in Dublin. I've been working in this agency for a bit more than 6 years now. It's called Upscotch Europe. It's not a Irish agency. It's not a French agency. It's really like a European agency, So we have a multinational, multicultural team from people, composed of people from all over Europe. You have me, a Frenchman. You have people from Belgium, people from Italy, people from Spain, and all together we work for a wide bunch of different clients, and we create and implement and develop a PR strategy for that public relations. For those of you who are not familiar with public relations, it's basically all the technique and all the tactics that we use to connect an organization and its public, as the name indicates, So it can go from media relation, influencer relation, social media, thought leadership, etc., etc. So that's what I've been doing for a bit more than 6 years. It's been a blast. I started in the agency as a consultant, and a few years after, I've got promoted as a manager, and now I'm a director.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So we have consultant, manager, and director in 6 years.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Exactly. Praise God. I've just been blessed. I've been at the right place at the right time. I've worked a lot as well, and yeah, I've really been blessed, because as much as I love my country, as much as I love France, and Prince, that I'm there all the time, this would never happen in France. In France, you have a lot of politics when you work in a company. And here in Ireland, at least in my company, I cannot talk about other company because I've only been working in this one company ever since I moved here. Here, only hard work pays. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Wow. So you said that you are now a director. Let's say, how long did it took you 6 years, obviously, but what was the interval between, obviously, being a consultant, how many years were you as a consultant? And then how many years were you as a manager? And then how long have you been now a director?
Actually, it went. I've climbed the ladder pretty fast. I was the consultant for a bit more than a year, and then I've got promoted as an account manager for 2 years, and now I've been a director for 3 years. Like the step after the director is business director, but this is something that a position which requires a lot of experience, and I'm not there yet. I'm just not there yet, and
Okay.
I'm very ambitious. I'm a hard worker, but I'm not there yet.
Okay. Okay. I guess I would like to know, how did you start? What degrees did you have? What qualifications did you have? So yeah, if you could just maybe walk me through before the beginning of your career path in your current company.
Yeah, sure. Happy to do it. So basically, after high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I've tried like different studies. I've studied sociology, I've studied sales. But I got like a couple of full degrees. But I wasn't really happy with like the offer that I had. In terms of jobs. What I was able to do with those degrees. So after maybe 2 or 3 years after high school, I took like, it was supposed to be one gap year, but I took like
Okay.
a couple of years off.
So you
I
didn't go
traveled.
straight to college, right? Sorry for interjecting, but you didn't go straight to college. You had like obviously gap years, as you said there.
No, I went straight to college for
Oh, you
2 or 3 years,
all right.
but I stopped after, I didn't get my master. I stopped like in the middle after
Okay.
2 and 3 years. Yeah, exactly.
What was the degree on?
It was a degree in sales.
Sales.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just like 2 years of studies, so it was like a pretty, I think it was like a bachelor degree. That's how you will call it over here,
Yeah.
I think so.
A bachelor's
It was
degree in sales, is it?
Yeah.
Would you? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's how we'll call it, But in France, our education system is slightly
A bit
different. But
different. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I guess you could call it a bachelor degree in sales. But then I wasn't really happy. I tried to look for jobs, and I wasn't really happy with the job, the offer that I got, and that I got frustrated. I was like, you know what? For now, I'm definitely not sure what I want to do next. So let me travel the world, So for a year, I traveled to Australia. I went
Wow.
to live there, yeah, exactly. And honestly, it was a blast, one of the best years of my life, But it was
What
basically just
city?
Sydney.
Sydney. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like most people, when I first landed in Australia, I had like a year-long visa. The idea was that's what most people do. The idea is you have like a year-long visa, and the idea is to go all around Australia within a year, This is basically the tradition, what most people do. And that was my plan too initially, but when I first arrived in Sydney, I just fall in love with the city. I fall in love with the people. I fall in love with the vibes, and I just spent a year there. But then before I knew it, my visa expired. So I went back to France, and then I was like, you know what? Let's go back to school. But let's try to pick a degree that I will enjoy, something that I'm good at, and something that I want to study. And communication ticked all the boxes. So I went to a communication school, and there I got a master degree in communication. Right after I joined like a PR agency based in France, and I started to work there for 3 years, and honestly, it was a great experience, But in 2018, I had like what I like to call an early midlife crisis. I woke up
Okay.
one morning. Yeah, I woke up one morning, and I realized that I was born in not only that I was born in France, but I was born in the Paris region. I grew up in Paris. I studied in Paris, and then I was starting my career in Paris. And I was like, man, time is flying. I don't want to find myself at 40 years old, and I've never seen anything apart Paris, apart from my year in Australia, So I was like, you know what? I really, really need something different. I love my family. I love my friends and I'm very close to them. But at the end of the day, everyone has his own path, and me, I
Yeah.
came to realize that my future wasn't in Paris. So I was like, you know
Okay.
what? I've always wanted to live abroad. I went to Australia. I loved it, but it was 10,000 kilometers away from home, and at time I got like a bit homesick. And I was like, and for a year, I wasn't able to see my family and my friends. So I was like, you know what? This time I want to do things differently. I'm gonna stay in Europe, but I want to go to an English-speaking country. I want to stay in the European Union. And I don't know if you remember, but in 2017, I think, 2018,
Yeah.
Brexit was voted. So
Okay.
the UK, who was like my first choice, the UK was out of the European Union. And nowadays, if you want to move to the UK, it's really a hassle. So I wanted to go to an English-speaking country in Europe, not too far from France.
Yeah.
There was only one country which
Mm.
was ticking all the boxes. It was Ireland. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And fun fact, I moved to Dublin. I found a job for moving there because my mom, she wanted to be reassured. I looked for a job. I found
Great.
my job. I moved here. And it's funny because even for a weekend, I've never been to Dublin before. It's very close to France, but I don't know why. I've never been attracted to Ireland.
Okay.
But all of a sudden, I found myself, I want to move to this country. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I moved there. I took a leap of faith. And fun fact, I remember I knew nothing about Ireland. I knew nothing about Dublin. That my first reaction when I first arrived at the airport, I remember I asked someone who was working at the airport. I was like, "Could you please show me the way to the metro, so I can go to the city center?" And this guy looked at me and was like, "What? Metro?" Like he was like, "There's no metro in Dublin." I was like, "What?" Like it's a European capital and there's no metro. I was like, okay, I'm in for a treat.
Yeah.
And from here, I went to surprise, but it mainly has been a very, very good surprise. Yeah, I've been blessed. Initially, I wasn't supposed to be here for so long. I just wanted to stay here for 2 and 3 years. I remember when I first came here, my objective was just to spend some time abroad, to have like a new experience to add to my CV, an experience in an English speaking country. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to stay 2 or 3 years and then I'll be back in France. But man, before I knew it, I've celebrated my 6 years anniversary in this country, but it's just been a blast. It's just been a blast. And, I'm a believer and I believe that, I had my plan, but God has had some better plan for me, and I'm here for a reason. I remember like a couple of weeks ago, we had a meeting at church, and one of our leaders, he got mad at us, like just randomly during a meeting. He was like, guys, when we ask you, why are you in Ireland? Why are you in Dublin? Stop answering that you are here for studies or that you are here for work. You are here
Okay.
because God wants you to be here. And I believe that's really true for me. I'm here because what God wants me to be here. So yeah, looking forward to the future. The last 6 years have been a blast, and I look forward for the next couple of years.
That's great. Amazing. It's amazing to hear obviously your recap of your story
Oh,
from
sorry, I hope I wasn't too long.
too long. No, 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 no. That's great. So 6 years. So you
Yeah.
came 2018.
Yes, the 20th of September, 2018. I was just a child. I was just a child. I thought I was a man, but I didn't have a clue, bro. I didn't
Yeah.
have a clue. I
Okay.
didn't have a clue.
All right. In that case, what would you tell to your younger self in terms of obviously your career path that you followed? Obviously, you said that you realized 2018 that you didn't want to stay in Paris after being born, raised, schooled, and educated there, and obviously now back then employed there. You made that realization 2018 that you need to travel the world or you need to relocate. So I guess what would you do differently if you were to turn back the clock 6 years ago?
Wow.
When it comes specifically, right? Obviously, there are different areas of your life and anyone's life. But when it comes to your career path, let's say, what type of wisdom would you give to your younger self?
That's a good question, and I'm definitely gonna answer it, but it's not
Take your
really my
time.
mind. It's not really my mindset, to be honest with you, because you cannot change the past. You cannot change the past, like no
Yeah.
one can change the past. Like again, I'm gonna quote my pastor. He always says that no one can change the past, but everyone can change the future, So I'd rather focus on the future.
Oh yeah.
But when I look back, I really look back with gratitude. And just to answer your question, if there's one thing that I could have done differently, man, I would have come here way earlier.
Okay.
I would have come in way earlier, baby.
All
Straight
right.
after high school, straight after high school, or wow. No, I would have come in
Okay.
way earlier.
So what I'm picking up from
It's
your
been one
answer.
of
Oh,
the
sorry.
best.
Go on.
Sorry, no, I
Go on.
just wanted to say it's been one of the best decisions of my life. Like I'm not gonna lie to your listeners. It hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows.
Okay.
It's never. But yeah, it's been one of the best decisions of my life. And I grew a lot.
Great.
And I grew a lot. As I told you at the beginning, when I first came, I thought I knew it all. When I came, I was like 29 years old. And at 29, you start to settle down. You have a bit of experience,
Yeah.
and you think you're a man, But I think over the past 6 years, I've grown way more than during the first 30 years of my life, man. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. I've
Mm.
grown in so many different areas, mentally, spiritually, physically. I've
Yeah.
been to the gym as well.
Show them guns.
Yeah, but yeah, I've grown a lot, and I'm so grateful for that. So yeah, if I could say something to 2018 Charlie, I would tell him, bro, you don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. You think you know, but you don't know.
Okay. Okay. That's really good. At least you have a few things to tell to 2018 Charlie.
Yeah.
What I'm getting from your answer is that if you had a chance or to revisit, and go back in 20 out of your comfort zone way earlier than you did. Okay. All right. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
definitely.
yeah. That's definitely something that's, I can relate to. So I didn't want to move. I was, let's say, positioned to move. Let's say, as God would have it, I was positioned to move and come to Ireland, even though it was not my first choice. So I can
Yeah.
relate in terms of the idea of moving outside of your, getting outside of your comfort zone, because the initial feeling is to not go out of your comfort zone.
No, well, for sure.
Yeah, and
Because yeah, I
that's
grew up like I don't think I'm better than anyone, and every time I go back home, and I chill with my boys and we catch up, I always try to encourage them, and to share my whole experience. But I always tell them, guys, I don't look down on you because I'm abroad, I'm no better, but still, a part of me is a bit sad that some of the guys that I consider brothers that I've grown up with, never left my hometown. The world has so much more to offer, Now they have a wife, they have a kids, they have a situation, but
yeah.
and that's their part, that's their course, but part of me is a bit frustrated for them, because yeah, the world has so much to offer.
Okay. So I want to ask you about just a couple more questions about obviously your career, your path specifically. So if you were to advise me and maybe give me some type of wisdom on how to navigate my own career path to end up where you are. If I were to, let's say, interview for a role, I mean, you started as consultant, became a manager, and became a director. So I'm guessing if I were to start as you were, or start as a manager, for example, in your company or in a similar company, what type of either qualifications or technical skills or soft skills would I need to essentially be where you are now in terms of your role?
But first thing first, and that's one of the reasons I love my agency so much is that we don't. pay that much attention to your CV, to what you've
Okay.
done before. Of course, if you work in agencies before, you're gonna have an edge over some other candidates, but still, we are willing to give it a try. Like I have some guys in my team, they work in sales, some guys, they work in bank. I think there's a guy who was even like a soldier before
Okay.
joining the agency, so we have a wide range of people with different and diverse backgrounds, And yeah, for us, the most important is really like the soft skills, and that's what we
Okay.
try to. When we interview someone, that's what we try to spot. We are like we don't spend like an hour or 45 minutes with a candidate just to read their CV. I know how to read, you know how to read. I know what's on your CV, but no, actually, what I'm interested in is what's not on your CV. What
Okay.
kind of person are you? Can you easily adapt? Do you know how to work
Easily
with a
adapt.
team? How
Work
do
with the team.
you overcome challenge? How
Okay.
do you navigate through uncertainty? Are you willing to learn? It's
Okay.
me, like I've learned so much, as a consultant, especially during the first couple of years. As I told you, I have a master's degree in communication, and again, I loved my teacher. I loved my school. I don't want to trash talk them, but when I first started my job, I was like, man, my studies are totally useless. My degree is totally useless.
Okay.
Everything I've been told at school,
Okay.
it
So
doesn't.
I wouldn't need, let's say, a first degree, a bachelor's in sales. I wouldn't need a master's in communication, just like you did. So I guess what would I need? You said obviously being able to learn, teachable, communicate.
Yeah, communicate is very important.
So yeah, what's I'm just trying to think the specific skills that one would need in your role.
Yeah, as I told you, adaptability, willingness to
Adaptability. Okay.
learn, ability to work in a team, be proactive, come up with solution. My boss, he tells me every day, Charlie, don't come
Coming
to
up with
me,
solutions. Okay.
don't come to me with issues, come to me with solution. Being
Solutions.
curious,
Okay.
being curious as well, being curious, being knowledgeable, because the world moves so fast, what was true yesterday is not true today, and we are a team of consultants, which means that our clients, they come to us for advices, on what
Okay.
are the upcoming trends, how can
I
we make
see.
the most of it, so you need to be curious as well. And empathy. Empathy is a very, very important skill for a communication professional, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, try to think like them, try to know what interests them, try to know and understand what resonates with them, know your
Okay.
audience, know the audience of your clients, and then last but not least, I would say this is the most important soft skill, tenacity. Tenacity. When you
Okay.
start as a consultant, in a PR agency, you spend most of your day calling journalists, try to pitch them a story, call them and you tell them, yeah, I'm calling you on behalf of this client. We have this very cool announcement. I think that would be relevant for you. Do you have 2 minutes so I can tell you more? Unfortunately, I would say that 60% of the journalists, they won't even pick up the phone. 25% might either hang up on you or not be
Yeah.
interested. So you have to focus on the 25%. It's a very small chunk, and
Yeah.
but you have to keep trying. You have to keep
You have
trying,
to.
and
Yeah.
you have to give it all. Like. And
Persevere.
unfortunately, yeah, you have to persevere exactly. And unfortunately, I've seen way too many people after one or two journalists declining, they give up. No, it's not like that, man.
I
I'm not
see.
where I am right now by giving up so easily. No, no.
Okay. Wow. And how does your day to day look like if we were to follow you, Charlie, on, let's say today is a Thursday. So
Thursday.
how was your Thursday, for example? Like, how does your day to day look like?
If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and all the social media platforms and follow my journey of inquisitiveness as we share wisdom, stories, and a little bit of inspiration. we believe that wisdom is our wealth. And so, we invite you all to get wisdom, get wealth. Stay tuned for more.
Or your week to week,
Okay,
for
so
example.
one of the reasons I've been in industry and I've been doing this job for so long is because actually there's not real day to day, there's not like a typical day, every day is different. And that's why I love my job. That's why I thrive in. But if I can give you like a regular structure, a
Yeah,
regular
just a small example.
blueprint, like in the morning when I log in, the first thing I do, I check my email, because not only my clients, but also some of the people I work with, they are spread all across the world. Sometimes I can work on a project with some people who are based in Singapore. At the moment I work a lot with the US, people who are based in Los Angeles, so due to the time difference, sometimes I have like some requests or some important email who comes in during the night. So that's the first thing that I will check. Then once I've done that, I will say that I check with each member of my team, like the status of the current project. Where are we? Mm, what can we do differently? Is there any issues? How can I help you? And then I will say that I check the news a bit, since I work in the communication industry, it's important to know what's going on in the world, so
Yeah.
I check the news a bit, and then in the afternoon, I will say that I try to schedule my client's meeting in the afternoon or my client's call, so we catch up with the client, we give them an update on our current project, what's going on, what are the next steps, and then is there anything you need from us, any upcoming requests, any last minute requests. And then, like the rest of the time, I handle like incoming requests, last minute requests. I brainstorm with my team. We try to make some adjustments on the campaign.
Okay.
Also, I spent a lot of time every week working on reports. My clients want to know what's going on. We have our weekly catch up by call, sometimes face to face. But at the end of the week, they always want like some weekly report about our accomplishment, the new leads, the coverage that we have secured, the various KPI that we have agreed on. Have we met them?
All right.
And also, since I'm like a director, also a part of my job is also to try to get like some new clients on board. So I'm also involved in the newbies. So I try to
Acquiring
pitch
new business.
yeah, exactly. I make some time to pitch the agency to some prospects, some potential
Okay.
clients. I put together some business proposals and I present them with the help of my team. And that's basically what I do, every single day.
There are a couple of words that caught my attention. Well, KPIs for obviously those that don't know, key performance indices. I guess that is very important to you guys, and it probably gives you an idea where to pay more attention and maybe where to pay less attention, I guess, in
Oh,
your business. And then the other one is campaign. So when you talk about campaign, would you maybe share like an example of a campaign? So for example, would it be like a famous customer, like, okay, Coca-Cola. So how would you run a campaign for Coca-Cola, for example, or any, I don't know. You don't need to name a specific client, but an example would be great.
So basically, our job is a very good question. Our job is to raise awareness about what our clients are doing. Either they're launching like a new product, they are launching a new
Okay.
service, they're making an important announcement. Our job is to make sure that this announcement will reach the relevant public.
Audience. Great.
So how we will be starting by sitting together with the client, having an update on like their news pipe. Do you have like an important announcement coming up? What are your priorities for this quarter, for this month?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so basically we start with a need. Basically they will tell us, Charlie, we're gonna launch a new service at this date. and we need you to help us to make a lot of noise, So basically, that's how we start, So based on their brief, I sit down with my team and I'm like, okay, this is the announcement, this is the date, and this is the audience.
All
How
right.
can we make it? How can we make it happen? And then we brainstorm, we work together on a plan. Basically, what is the situation? What is the brief? What is
Yeah.
the challenge? Then we try to come up with various tactics to help us to meet our objective. Maybe we can organize an event. Maybe we can work with an influencer. Maybe we can organize a press conference. Maybe we can organize a media tour and organize a series of interviews for our a spokesperson. And then we present our PR plan to our client. And then he approve or not, or he ask us to make some adjustments. When we come to an agreement, not only on the idea, but also on the budget, how much will that cost?
Okay.
How much will that cost? We start and we implement the campaign, and then throughout the campaign we catch up with the client on a regular basis to make sure that he's happy, that we are on the right track. If not, we make some adjustments, and then at the end of the campaign we deliver a report explaining what we have achieved, the objective that we have reached, what works well, what are the areas of improvement, what can we do better next time. And, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Nice. That's the whole circle of a campaign. That's good, and that can take maybe days, weeks, months, I guess. Well, yeah.
Yes,
probably.
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. A campaign can be 2 weeks long. I think that would be the minimum, and some can last 6 months.
Okay.
For instance, even longer. For instance, I was working with a big client. Was involved in the Olympics at Paris last year. Last summer.
Nice.
And we kicked off the campaign 2 years prior to the Olympics. It was a 2 years campaign.
Wow. Amazing. And that sounds very interesting. And I think I like the fact that you can work on different campaigns. So in the past 6 years, you have not necessarily been doing the same thing over and over, but you've been working on different campaigns, different clients, different people, different subjects. So I think that keeps someone engaged, beyond the daily routine. At least that your day-to-day or week-to-week looks a little bit different, So
Exactly.
It keeps the day or the week less mundane.
Exactly. As I told you, yeah, exactly. I get bored very quickly. I couldn't be sitting behind the desk all day. I respect the people who can. I really respect them. But me, I couldn't be sitting down behind the desk, working on report all day long, 5 days a week, or being on the phone all day long, 5 days a week, or doing some research all day long, 5 days a week. No, I need to knit and pick, to do a bit of everything, and every day. Yeah, exactly.
Totally. I definitely understand. Now,
and even though, I'm not gonna lie, my job, there's some sort of routine as well, at the end of the day.
Every job has that.
I'm a director in a PR agency. I'm not like an actor. I don't do crazy different things every single day, but still, it's exciting enough. It's interesting enough. And yeah, it's just like a change, on a regular basis. And that's what I need.
Great. We're going to shift right now in the, let's say, last few minutes.
Yes. You're stalking me.
Of course. What do you mean? I have to research my interviewee. Because I'm the interviewer. So, Charlie, tell us more about what's happening here.
Wow. Yeah, I gave a crash course about PR a few weeks back. I think it was 2 weeks back at DCU to some French students who are doing an exchange here in Dublin, and basically I was doing with them the exact same thing I'm doing with you, sharing my journey, sharing my background, giving some advice, and trying to inspire. This is really something that is important for me. Me, I'm all about transmission. I think it has to do with the fact that I'm the eldest of my family, and that's the way I've been brought up. That's the way my parents raised me. Everything I have, my parents always told me, you have to share it. Everything you have, you share it with your brother. Either it's your clothes, your snack, your experience. You have to share it with the people who are younger and who know a bit less than you. So this is something that's very important for me. Transmission, sharing, trying to inspire, trying to help out. And yeah, that's basically it.
That's great. How long have you been working with this organization? France
Um,
Island Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I've been working with them for 6 years. They are one client of the
Oh,
agency, but that was actually the first time that we were doing this initiative. But it worked so well that we have decided to do it like twice a year minimum. So yeah, I'm really looking forward for the next session. I think it's gonna take place in April, but I really look forward to it, because I really enjoyed it, and I'm pretty confident that also the students they enjoyed it. At least that's what they told me.
okay. How was the feedback? Yeah, in terms
No,
of what they
it was
told.
pretty it was pretty
Okay,
positive. It was pretty positive. It was pretty positive. They were asking questions. They enjoyed my presentation. I tried to keep it cool, interactive, and to give them what they needed, And no, honestly, it went very well. It went very well.
that's great. And obviously, as you know, we are a platform based on obviously wisdom, knowledge, experience, mentorship as well. And the other, I guess, platform that I wanted to ask you about is, I believe it's another French platform, My Job Glasses.
Yes,
Please correct
exactly.
me.
Exactly. My job glasses. So basically, it's a mentorship platform which is very popular in France. Like most of the students, they use it. So basically, the aim of this platform is to connect students, young people to professional. So basically, they log in on the platform, and through like the search engine, they can find people who are working in the industry that they are interested in. Let's say that you are interested in sales, you can find someone who's been working in sales for 10 years. Let's say that you are interested in communication. You can find the profile of someone who's been working in communication, and basically you can connect with them, send them a message, tell them that, hey, listen, I'm curious to know more about communication. I'm going to graduate next year, but I'm still not sure what to do, where to go.
Okay.
Do you mind us jumping on a quick call so you can tell me a bit more about your experience, about what your job likes, because I've done some internship, but still I'm not sure, so I'm curious to know your experience and to have your perspective, So yeah, I came across this platform a couple of years ago, and honestly, I was a bit jealous at first, because I was like, man, growing up, I would have loved to have something like that,
Yeah.
but now
They
that
didn't
I'm a
have this in
professional,
our time. We didn't have
no,
that.
we didn't, and I think it's really like it really solves a real challenge, because you can sit down for as long as you want in a school. There's nothing like experience, like there's a rapper that I love from the Wu-Tang, who always says, yeah, experience is the best teacher. Me
Okay.
growing up, I had a lot of questions, and I didn't have a lot of people. My parents brought me where I am today, and I'm so grateful for everything they've done. I've never lacked anything, but unfortunately, where I come from in France, if you want to climb the ladder, it's not about the money. It's not about where you're from. It's not even about, it's not really even about your skin color or your religion. It's about who you know. French is a country of
Yeah.
network. It's a country of, yeah, you need to know and to be known. The most successful people I know, they are not like the smartest, they are not the richest, they have the right connection. So me,
They know people.
yeah, they know people. They know people who know people who know people. That's it.
Yeah.
One way or another. Unfortunately, my parents, they came to France from Haiti in their late years, so they didn't have like a chance to create like a strong network, So yeah, long story short, me like growing up, I didn't have a lot of people who are like established professional who could answer my question. So now that I'm one and that I have my little career, I came across this platform. I was like, yeah, I would love to help, and yeah, I think I give like 2 hours of my time every month. I jump on calls with students. I think I've done a bit more than 30 ever since I've been in this platform. And
Great.
honestly, all the time, every time I have like a chat with a student, they're always thanking me, but I'm also really grateful for the experience. I'm grateful to be able to help, so yeah, that's it.
Giving back.
Yeah, giving back, exactly. I'm blessed.
Great.
I'm blessed to bless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we end that interview, so I want to ask you a question for, I guess, a potential young person. Let's say I was maybe one of your mentees. I still haven't figured out what to do in life,
Mm.
what career path, what to do, whether I'm getting ready to sit for my leaving cert or still I'm in my 20s or mid 20s. And I'm thinking like, Charlie, I'm a bit stuck. I'm not sure what to do. My parents are telling me to do this or my friends are doing that, but I'm still not sure.
Honestly, I will tell this person, you have a network. Don't underestimate your network. Because
Okay.
even though you don't know someone directly, you probably know someone, you have like the cousin or the neighbor of a friend who can help you. So ask a lot of questions. It's better to look silly by asking a question than not asking it and stay silly, So yeah, ask a lot of questions. And then what I will tell them was, yeah, make the most of the internet, like internet, a lot of resources, and sometimes I feel like we are just scratching the surface, And then last but not least, once you've asked some question around you, once you've done like your research, just take a leap of faith, just take a leap of faith, like as you said in the introduction, it's not about overthinking, it's about doing, Nothing beats execution. I think it's one of the best advice I've ever had. Nothing beats execution. And it's the same in every area of life, So at one point, you will never feel ready, I love the Bible, as I said, as I'm a believer, but I don't want to paraphrase it. There's a verse that I really like, and it talks about that. Let me just look it up right now.
Come on. Drop the knowledge. Come on.
Okay, I got it. Ecclesiastes 11:4. If a person waits for perfect weather, he will never plant his seeds.
Hmm.
So at one point, you just have to go, man, and plant your seed, because the perfect weather will never come.
Yeah. 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 I take that for myself, So it's applicable to wherever you might be, whatever stage in life you might be. So I'm taking it. I'm receiving it. So
Receive, my brother. Receive.
thanks so much, man. So this was Charles, amazing guy, all the way from Paris, France, currently in Ireland, Dublin, Ireland. Blessed to have him. Just giving thanks for your time and for the nuggets of wisdom that you've dropped on us in your career, in your life. So we much appreciate you as we close. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.